If your mid back is always tight because you're sitting in the office and you're super stressed out and you take a deep breath and you look like this, you're gonna wanna watch this video. We're gonna give you a couple of actionable things that you can do immediately without much equipment that's gonna put a lot of great length and create some space between the shoulder blades so that you can finally relax instead of feeling like this all the time. So let's get after it. First exercise is gonna be seated bilateral shoulder ER with breathing. So we got Lucas pretending that he's set up at home. We're gonna sit up nice and proud. And then you're gonna reach your elbows forward so your upper back rounds a little bit while you're still fairly proud up here. So I want you to shift back a little bit, right there. And he's fairly neutral here, palms facing him. And all he's gonna do is he's gonna take nice soft inhales and exhales. So we're gonna inhale and exhale all the way like you're blowing out birthday candles. You're gonna feel your deep core and your obliques start to engage. Pause for 2 seconds, gently inhale again. Exhale all the way. And this might not seem like much, but if you were to squeeze your shoulder blades like this and take a deep breath, you would only feel your chest open up. So the fact that we're trying to get the shoulder blades away from each other by reaching with the elbows, when he takes that breath, he's gonna slowly feel some length and some air coming here and the space between the shoulder blades opening and lengthening so that this isn't quite as irritated. It's not gonna feel like a stretch like, oh my gosh, it's an insane stretch. You're just gonna feel a subtle kind of opening between the shoulder blades. And you're gonna go for 10 breaths. Common mistake that people make is they inhale and exhale too aggressively. The quieter the inhale and exhale, the better for most people. So just focus on nice, quiet, relaxed breaths. Full inhale, full exhale, 2-second pause, repeat for 10. Quick fix that you can do to just start to open up the upper back is to train the eccentrics of your pulling exercises. Typically what we do when we train a row is we do like a nice shoulder blade down and back and we squeeze at the top of a row, but that's just gonna make the back, the area between your shoulder blade nice and tight. And if we wanna create length, we actually have to train the eccentric. So I've got Lucas set up here with the bench supported cable row. And Lucas is gonna go for the row. And what he's gonna do is he's gonna have that squeeze, but he's gonna let the cable pull out in front of him, and he's gonna let that shoulder blade wrap around his rib cage, and it's gonna open up his back. And you're gonna take a deep breath there, and then go for your row. Common mistakes that people will make is if they're going for this row, they're gonna start to turn their sternum to the opposite side. I actually want Lucas to rotate his sternum a little bit towards the same side to get even more length in his backside. How do you know if you need this? Well, if you do the row and you're training the eccentric lengthening aspect of this and you feel a ton of length here. If you're training the row and it feels like a little bit of a stretch, the juice might not be worth the squeeze. But chances are, if you're very tight in that mid back, this is gonna be a great way to just make sure that your pulling exercises are a little bit more productive and it works towards the mobility that you're trying to gain. So if you can train an eccentric pull to open up your mid back, you can train a concentric push. And one thing I like to utilize is the cable chest press. So Lucas, you're actually gonna hook this underneath your elbow like so, and then carry it with your hand. You're gonna step forward, left leg, right leg back. And you're gonna be toe off on that right leg, perfect. And as you're pressing forward, I don't want you to lean forward, right? I want you to keep yourself nice and stacked and reach with the shoulder blades. Beautiful. And even when you hold that position, I want you to move your ribs back a little bit more. Can you feel a little bit more stretch there? Good. So now you're gonna come back. Same thing, just open up the pec, but as you press and you maintain the ribs back, you're gonna get some nice space behind that shoulder blade. The weight here, again, you're not doing this to get a pec workout. You're just doing this to open up and get as much mobility through that shoulder blade as possible. Sidelying horizontal abduction is a great way to build some shoulder strength and train the rotator cuff. But if you work on the eccentric again, this is also another great way to open up that mid-back area. So Lucas is just gonna lay on his side. You keep your left hand so you can make it like a little pillow there, perfect. And you're gonna keep the arm nice and long. And as he comes up, that's perfect. He'll get a nice retraction of the shoulder blades, but as he comes down, he's gonna let the shoulder blade hang without his torso rotating. And what he's gonna feel is as he comes down, we're training the muscles as it's lengthening. The key here is working the muscle as it's lengthening so that over time you can actually change the muscle architecture. If you keep training the muscle in a shortened position, the fibers will adapt in a shortened position. If you train in a lengthened position, over time you're actually gonna have mobility that lasts a while. If you only do things like stretching and passive work, it doesn't elicit enough stress to create tissue changes over time. But something like this Lucas is pretty jacked. He's already struggling a little bit. This is gonna open up that mid back for you over the long haul. This motion is just gonna be this arms clasped overhead flexion. We like to do this in tall kneeling to make sure that the person stays stacked and there's no compensations from the lower back, and all of the motion comes from the mid to upper back. So Lucas is gonna be in his tall kneeling position. I want him to start off in a straight line from his knees, hips to his shoulders. Then he's gonna pretend that he's got an uncle coming over. It's one of the bigger uncles, and you're giving him a nice hug. You're clasping the fingers together like so. While we're here, he's gonna reach the shoulders and blades as far forward as possible without arching his lower back too much. And from there, he's gonna raise his arms overhead while maintaining that stack. And what you're gonna feel a ton of here is your serratus muscle. We call this the boxer muscle. I call it the Bruce Lee muscle because you kind of see him come out. He's got the serratus out here to the side. Common compensations, Lucas is kind of already doing. He's gonna start to tuck his chin, keep the chin proud, and then raise arms overhead like so. You're gonna feel that serratus working, and you're gonna feel a lot of stuff in the mid to upper back start to work. But we're getting that shoulder blade to move upwards, and it's not a lot of the load initially, but if you haven't done this in a while, it could feel a little bit like a cramp.